Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, the 6 days until Christmas 2023. Oh, and today I've got, it's Friday the 13th. And who does a live stream on Friday the 13th without Jason?
Hey.
Right? I mean, it's only natural.
It's only natural. Yeah. Meg heard my silent command. I said, Meg, return back to the headquarters now. And she's doing it.
Exactly. She's on her way back to the headquarters. And Meg, if you guys don't know, she's got a new mic set up. It sounds fantastic. She did a great video again today.
Megan's a killer now, too. There's that little robot doll girl who's evil. So you have a whole collection of little weirdos from horror films.
That's right. That's true. I didn't even think about that. On Friday the 13th, to get Jason and Meg. Absolutely. Is it Meg or Megan?
It's Megan.
Megan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which is what we call Meg when we're very serious and stern with her.
Yes.
Megan, that's not what that story said. We know you're twisting it for YouTube clicks. And she's like,
if you want me on, I'll join. Of course we want you on, Meg. As soon as you are able to get your rig all set up, then by all means, please join. Oh my goodness. Hey, we've got a couple of fun things to do. I've been holding off on one because it's unboxing stuff. And I got 2 of them. I took the label off so nobody can see my home address. I do have a mailing address. If you guys want to send me something.
What if we want to come play with your toys? What if we want to play with the toys?
Yes.
How can I map quest? Remember MapQuest? How can I map quest to your house?
Right. So I changed it to, I've got a public mailbox, and you guys can find that in the on the channel. You can find it in Patreon, all kinds of places. You can find, if you'd like to send me a package to open,
or your Darth Cheeks. Darth Cheeks.
By the way, I did get one of those. Yes, but this is fun, and I know what this is, and my friend Vanessa sent it to me in the mail.
Anthrax.
Oh no! This actually comes to us from the Disney parks. She was at the park the other day, and she's like, "Hey, Santa, what would you like?" I was like, "Oh, you're funny. Don't give me anything." She's like, "Oh, I'm going to get you something." So I said, "Well, I have got
a turkey leg, one of those turkey legs with a bite out of it."
So I got this a great note from her. It says, "Happy New Year to you and your family. Blessings to you all, Vanessa." So this is
nice.
Wonderful, and she sent me a handful of these little guys. You know what that is, right?
Looks like that drug from RoboCop 2, Nuke.
Vanessa says, "Promise it's not anthrax." There's another, right? Hold on.
Kyber crystal candy?
Yes, it's Kyber crystals. Of course it's Kyber crystals.
Whoa.
So she sent me 3 of them. So that now I have the one that's in my saber. And I bought this when I was there, right? So you got the red one right in there.
Nice.
You got the Kyber crystal in there, right? I've got the red one already. And, people can complain about these lightsabers that you can build at Galaxy's Edge because they're not as great as some others or whatever. The scale of them is a little weird or what. I think they're fantastic. They're heavy. They've got some weight to them and metal. Like, it's not all plastic whatnot. Is this true, Meg? Is this true? Are you just tooling us? Huh? We need to know. Are you? What are you saying? Is it happening? Is it really happening? If it's happening, I'm going to be there at 1859. 1859 what? 1859 UK.
The year
1859.
Time travel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see, Santa. That's in 20 minutes for me. Oh, okay. 20 minutes. Okay. Well, that's brilliant. So, in these sabers, one of the fun things about them is just the experience of building them at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
there's a
it's an
thing.
experience. It's an experience.
It's cheesy. It's fun. It's and if you go there as an adult human, you will look weird because there's a whole bunch of little kiddos, right? So
I know
Meg.
Edge 100 times.
I've been jealous of Sheev for months. You've ruined my life because you let Sheev have a face reveal, but no. Can Santa? No, absolutely not. I see how you are. No, I'm kidding.
I don't really. I'm not as interested in the face reveal as I am in the pea patch reveal. We want to know the exact location for history where that happened.
That's right on the set. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
We're gonna let that go.
So with these sabers, the blades can change color based on what the kyber crystal you put in it, right? Mm-hmm. So, like for example, the one that I have in here, purple, right? So that was good fun. What are you doing, Jason? So you've got purple there, and you've got then if you change out the saber color or the kyber crystal color, and this is again part of the fun.
I'm a jerk. I'm a big jerk, by the way. I've had this for you for a long time, and I keep meaning to mail it to you. I swear, I haven't been to the post office, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send it. I swear. This is yours.
That's what you've said. You told me that months ago.
Right here.
No, I'm like, where am I going to get that?
I killed the Jedi and took it from him for you. Like, I literally murdered him for it.
When am I going to get that kyber crystal from Jason? Right. When?
I've been waiting. I just watched Obi-Wan Kenobi bury some stuff in the sand, and I went like out there with a little shovel, like my little paws, and I just dug it up.
So these are fun because you can kind of disassemble them, and when you disassemble, then you can just for people that may not have seen, right? You could disassemble them, and then when you open, there you can see the kyber crystal right inside there.
Ooh.
And so all you have to do is take out the kyber crystal that's in there and put in a kyber crystal of a different color. And so this one's green. Vanessa sent me. Got a green one here. Of course, Santa needs a green saber.
Yeah.
You know, I got purple because when I was in there building it, I thought, okay, what colors do I want to get here? And then what ones will I buy? I bought a red one. So, you know, red and green is Christmas.
Do they still do that? Do they still do that blind bag thing, like for like a black crystal? Is that still a thing? It used to be that there was like,
I don't know.
Like in every case there was like one black crystal that was like.
Oh, I didn't see that. I've seen in the red ones every now and then there's a black one, and the black ones are like rare or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they do have those, and there was a little.
You know what? You're out of Jedi school. You're done. That right there, that was your test, and you're out.
I know. So there, I've got the green. I've got the green crystal, right? So I'm gonna take the purple crystal out and put the green one in, and just show, like, you know, again, this is just a fun thing. It's not like, you know, you guys, if it's not your. If they're not the best saber in the world, whatever, you know. So
only the best for Jason.
Yeah. Took the purple out. I put a green one in, and you'll see like it has a whole sound effect thing, right?
Yeah.
So here, look, I'll do it again right in front of the mic so you guys can hear. All right.
Santa, is that real? Is that a real lightsaber?
Oh, it is.
It makes a sound, and I don't think it would do that if it was just a toy from Disneyland.
Right? I know. That's purple.
Whoa.
And then, you know, this one's green. And so, again, it's just fun. I think that's...
Yeah.
I think it's fun, and you see like it flashes different colors and whatnot. Like in here, you can see like the greens flashing in there, and then you got that little color code to put it back together, right? So I can line this stuff up. Again, it's like you're putting together your lightsaber, right? It's not like it's fun. It's awesome. And what I do with the other part, I've misplaced a part. Mm-hmm. Whoa, there it is.
You're the worst Jedi. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, realistically, I don't see you making it past this this Padawan stage right now.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
You're supposed to be like this. Like it's all supposed to like hover in front of you and like come together and stuff. You're like, I don't even need to use my hands to put my weapon together because it is not a weapon. It is an object of defense. And instead, you're like, whoa! Oh no! The Kyber crystal's calling out to me. It's like popcorn. Sorry.
It's great. Well, and when you put these together, like when you build them initially, there's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 parts, and then you pick the ones you want.
Yeah.
And they don't give you the other ones that you didn't pick. You just get these, right? They don't like give you a go bag with the ones that you didn't pick. So it's a kind of a big thing when you pick it out. You gotta. So I put it back together. We changed the Kyber crystal from purple to green, and you use the same blade, right? You don't have to change the blade. You take the same blade, put it back in. And how much was this? Jedi Chris asks. Expensive.
What are they, like $199 or something?
Yeah, they're. Oh. Again, Santa fail.
Come on, dude. Use the Force, homie. Come on.
I know. I'm so lame. I've screwed it up. And just like, they're pricey. They are pricey. And I put it in backwards, so now it doesn't want to come out, and it won't go back in.
You're such a Kamal Nanjiani, aren't you?
I am so lame. I am I'm completely lame. Here I got this fun thing I'm telling you guys about. Like, this is great fun, and I'm so lame I can't do it right. And I'm like screwing it up and breaking it. Now it's coming apart. Now let's try again. Try again, Santa. There. Yeah. And you have to. Yeah, Santa's taking a big L. I know. The Kybers are they're affordable. They're quite affordable. Let's see if I put this together back. Right. No, I've screwed it up.
I wonder if there's any kind of hack where you could just make it change colors, like if there's a way to,
Well,
I wonder if there's like any trick to it.
There probably is.
It's fun to get the crystals. I'm not, I'm just wondering if there is.
Well, the demonstration ends there because I've messed it up. Now I've got the sleeve that's on the inside here. I've got it misaligned. I've got to go and pull it back out, and it's stuck. And
dang it, Disney!
No, Santa's a loser. I'm a loser. I completely messed it up.
Mine is powered by a light bulb. So what? So
now there's another box here that I got, and this raises another point that when Hasbro lets you pre-order things, well, the problem is sometimes you got to wait better part of a year, right? Better part of a year to get the daggone things, and you're like, well, what's in the box? I can't remember. I know by then, is it something that you've been super excited for? Is it something? So part of it is the fun of opening the box. What's in the box? I don't know. Sure. What's in the box? And this came from Hasbro themselves. Yeah, it's a box with paper in it. It's
episode 7. Get it?
I'm so excited. Paper, right?
Okay.
There we go. More paper.
Oh, kindling for your fireplace behind you.
Here we go. So we've got the Dark Trooper. There we go.
Whoa, that's actually really cool. Like, it's kind of funny. Really cool. I really when I saw it in the episode of the show, I was just very neutral about it. But when I see the toys of it, I'm super into it as a toy. Like that's a pretty fun toy, you know?
It is. And like, so I bought the big deluxe package, right?
That's where I saw it. Yeah, that's where I saw it the first time.
And there he's on fire, and I mean, how cool that's pretty neat. And then they've got this, of course, in their deluxe packaging.
Yeah, are you opening that? Are you opening that?
I am going to open it. I'm going to open it right now.
That's
because fun. Yes, it is.
Yeah, open your toys, losers.
Yes.
They won't ever be worth anything. Just open it all.
Just open them.
Only the ones that nobody opens are going to be worth anything. And whenever nobody opens it, they're all worth just retail pretty much.
Well, and, you know, some of the complaints about this packaging is you can't see what's in there until after the fact. And if you get it in the store, maybe somebody swapped out a different figure.
Well, sometimes like when you go to the store though, and you look at it too, it's like this one's paint job looks like, you know, it's been smoking crack all day, and this other one looks like the character.
Yes.
So it's like that's
exactly
the thing I don't like about it, but
I don't. Yeah, and pre-ordering you get whatever they send you, right? So
yeah,
it comes
we pre-order.
So
might get the crackhead one. You never know.
You don't know. Yeah, and then if you never open it, you don't know what's in there, right? So there's the look. Those guys are pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I think they're pretty cool. And
yeah, it looks good.
Nice detail on. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I got 2 of these, and a 3 counting the one that's in that other box.
Was that just the Megan face reveal that we just got? Is that what she looks like? Is that her?
I didn't see
Megan. The thing you just held up. I thought maybe that was the picture of.
Oh, well,
yeah, because she's a robot.
Yeah. That's oops. I'm dropping stuff on the Santa.
For the last time, dude. Come on.
Act together, man. I'm telling you what. Loser. What a loser.
I bet you if we had like a camera at his feet, there's like all these weapons, like vintage weapons, like the original Chewbacca bowcaster.
I gotta crawl up under the desk. It's like, geez, what's under here? Oh,
there he goes.
There we go. My goodness, what a mess. Oh, I lost his go-go gadget fist. So you can replace the hands.
All right.
Pretty sweet.
Nice fist, Megan.
Yeah, you can make them punch them right in the face instead of having a grappler hand there.
Yeah.
You can hold a rifle.
Sith punch. That's what he says when he does it.
Yes. You can, you can give him the old punching hand instead. And then, is there any fire in there? That's what I want to know. Any fire in the... Oh, there's fire in here, too.
There is fire in there.
There is fire. Because, they fly. There's another punchy hand. Another punchy hand. Here's some wires and stuff. Whatever. Yeah, I'll set that up later. But yeah, we got fire so they can fly. If your death trooper there is gonna fly, you gotta put the flames in there. So you can really go. So anyway, good fun.
If my toys are on fire, I'm not playing. That's what I always say.
Oh, very good. Well, that's fun. So I got 2 of those. Put it with the third one. I can have a little row because they do come with the little like case that they're standing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, some assembly required, but you can put that together and have them standing in the wall. All
right.
There we go. Good fun.
It's fun.
Good fun. But the complaint is about doing the pre-order thing. And I listened to our good friend Tim from Boss Bounty. Boss Bounty did a review. Well, he did a little panel with Hasbro. And I think it's actually smart of Hasbro to do this. They get some of the influencers on a stream, and then they ask them questions. They're able to ask Hasbro questions and stuff. That's a fantastic idea. And one of the questions they had are, why do pre-orders sell out? Like, isn't the point of pre-order to find out, like, oh, we want 1 million of these things, so make more?
Mm-hmm.
Or is, what's the deal? So Tim was on one of those, and they were like, well, it's the the retailers have a limit. They have a finite limit, like 100,000 of these things. Well, then just quit doing pre-orders. Quit doing pre-orders, because 12 months later, 8-9 months later, when it finally comes, do a release, right? So you could do like a pipeline, say, hey, these things are coming, right? Get excited. We're gonna have these. They're gonna go for sale, not pre-sale, or sale on February 20th. I don't know, whatever, And then February 20th comes along.
I would imagine like they can't make like 155,000. It has to be like 100,000 or 200,000. I would imagine like it has to go like in batches like that. And yeah, they should just go and say we have like these certain like numbers, and if it goes over, we're gonna cancel that extra 5,000. But then that would be really bad, right? So I guess that's where they run into the damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. I don't know.
Yeah, they do. And hey, there's Megan.
Hello.
Hey, Meg.
There we go. We got a perfectly frightening Friday the 13th with Megan and Jason.
That's true.
Have you seen the Megan thing yet?
No, but I probably will.
I saw it.
It looks really good.
I saw it with my daughter Penny, and she's like, it was like perfect for like her age, like a horror film, like with a kid. It's pretty ridiculous, but if you just go in thinking like this is dumb and fun, it's a good time.
You know what film was really, really good? Smile.
I took her to see Smile as well. Yeah,
that one blew me away. I was expecting a cringe sort of jump scare horror film.
Yeah,
and it was genuinely terrifying.
I liked Smile up until the very, very end. Like the very ending for me kind of botched it, but everything up to the end was really good. You know the
very, very end, or like generally.
Yeah, like when we get to the end of it, they're just like, what do we do now?
Oh yeah, well, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, do you know that's Kevin Bacon's daughter?
I did not know that, but now I see the resemblance.
Looks like him. Yeah, after you're like, oh, that's like a lady Kevin Bacon.
Oh, and rest in peace, Lisa Marie Presley. That was really sad. I saw the Elvis documentary over the summer. That's really sad. Yeah.
So it's like she was 54 years old. She's almost exactly 1 month younger than my wife, and for her to be to go so tragically, so quickly, it's really sad. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And rest in peace. And I feel really bad for her mom, having lost her husband, ex-husband, however you want to look at that, with Elvis, and then her daughter surviving them that's a tough thing to happen. So,
but now her and Michael Jackson could be together. That's the important thing. Again. Okay, I'm done now.
I think it's important.
Sorry. Too soon, Jason.
I just noticed Jason's name on here, Culture Ward.
Yeah, that's going to be my new channel. You're watching the Culture Ward.
So I don't do horror movies. I don't do jump scares. None of it's for me. In fact, a lot of TV shows, when they put jump scares in there, they freak me out. I hate them. I hate it.
Santa, guess what?
Boom!
Okay. Sorry.
What a jerk.
Sorry, man. It's my day. It's Friday the 13th. I'm out of control.
I know. It's Friday the 13th. I've got Jason and Megan. Oh, what do you expect?
We started late, so I just kept drinking coffee like an idiot. Like I'm on 3 cups right now.
Can you guys clear something up for me? So,
yeah,
is Friday the 13th, the like horror thing, is that whenever there's a Friday the 13th, or is it specific to a month? Because I swear there was a Friday the 13th in November once, and people were like, "Oh, it's spooky."
There's always there's like 3 of them a year, I think, and yeah, it's just whatever Friday the 13th. However, I did fail to mention, and I'm glad you brought it up, Meg. The very first Friday the 13th of the year, the very first one, is Blame Someone Else Day. So today is the day to blame someone else, and I blame the company I work for making this stream come later than normal. Now, we're delayed by an hour and a half
because a joke there. Not touching it.
I heard the joke as well.
I'm not touching it. You can take it. I'm not taking it.
Yeah, delayed coming is. I mean, sorry, I should have been a bit more subtle. Delayed gratification sometimes can have benefits. You enjoy it that much more.
It's true.
I'm sure Matt Rissman agrees with me. I don't know why I said Matt. I'm just picking on
that edgelord.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm still messing around with this thing.
He's really trying. He's like, I'm gonna redeem myself. I'm gonna make this lightsaber on this stream. It's gonna happen today, and they're gonna respect me.
It's gonna happen. So Dawn says, I have friends of mine that got married on Friday the 13th. Their daughter is Kid Dreadful. Fun fact: Kathy and I got married on October 30th, Halloween, All Hallows Eve. So there you go.
You know what's a red flag in a kid? Is if their name is Karen, or if they're a guy, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Keith.
The two ugliest
Why
names
Keith?
in the English language.
Keith.
Karen.
My ex-mother-in-law is named Karen, and my kids love it. They think it's hilarious because they think she's a Karen, so they like laugh at it. They're like, "We got a Karen. My grandma's a Karen." Like every time they see a Karen video or something, I think it's pretty funny.
So Jedi Mike got married on July 3rd, right before Independence Day. He gave away his independence.
Yeah, why don't you do it on the 4th, man? But don't you love America? Don't you want to marry America? Come on.
What was your day?
That's one of those jokes that plays well when you ask somebody, like for example, do they have July the 4th in England? Because, we got our independence. So do they have July 4th in England?
Well, I think there was one July 4th. People got really drunk next to the river near me. There were fireworks, but not the ones you're thinking.
Well, I mean, it's a date. Of course they do. Every place in the world has a July 4th. Now, do they celebrate America's independence on that day? Not necessarily.
No, not really. You'll see a few American flags in there's an American pub in central London.
But yeah, you guys like supplement it with like Queen's Jubilee kind of stuff and everything, right? That's kind of like where you get it out, right?
Yeah, and they spend like a ridiculous amount of money on those things. Like in May, we have the inauguration of King Charles, and they said that's going to cost the taxpayer like £1.8 million.
Jeez.
Jedi Chris says, Meg's English? I always thought the accent was Texan. We have had Texas Meg on before.
Mm-hmm.
But today it's Megan to scare us all to death on Friday the 13th. I kid. We do have Star Wars news to talk about, by the way.
Oh, so, yeah. That's a thing.
We did a live stream on Tuesday, and, my friend over here waits till after my live stream to publish a story. Thanks, Jason. I was waiting on something for it, and it came right after the show, and I was like, there we go. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. I know. No, I thought about Jason's
show, and I'm like, what is this? So it's the one that you reported on as well. It's that Ahsoka is bringing another character into live action, another creature. I should be more specific, right? And
I actually have an update for it to add to it that I saved for your show.
Oh,
is the wolf's name, and calling him that is because that's what it said on the art on concept art that was used during the production. So they brought in the concept art for that character. So when it comes to the Kanan Jarrus, oh, you did it! You did it! You are Kanan.
Santa Lightsaber is a big one.
I know. So it was Doom.
Yeah. Doom. The concept art for Doom was brought in is there as well. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what to take from that. It's up to speculation. Is it less likely to be a Kanan reference now? I don't know.
Well, it could be similar. We've talked about other things, right? Where our what is that? Saracen steel, for example, right? is it really Saracen steel or is it something else?
Yeah, and was it just the artist who was writing that on concept? You know what I mean, on the concept stuff. Like these are all like production questions that I can't really answer, but I could just throw it out there to you guys, and you guys could go, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If it's fun, if it frustrates you, sorry, I could just keep it to myself instead. But I figure I'll just throw it out and then let like people.
Well, you know something. Back in my home state of Texas, as you can tell from my accent.
Yes.
Yeah, we like wolves. Quite fond of them.
Right. Yeah, do they have wolves in Texas? I have no idea. I think they just have like tumbleweeds and stuff.
I'll Google search before claiming that I know.
No, I'm sure they do. Coyote.
Is it? Yeah. Is it other? Is it other? Is it Doom? What was the other one? The other one we talked about. Oh, the troopers, the Praetorian Guard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like Episode 8 has elite Praetorian Guards. These said Praetorian Guard. Is that what they are, or is this shorthand production talk? You know what I mean? Like when you have like the costume designer and you have a concept artist and all that kind of stuff, like they're gonna shorthand it. Like I said, they end up getting called lobsters at one point. Like that's what they that's what they end up calling.
And you know the thing with all of this, we're never actually going to find out, because the Mandalorian is great at showing us things and never actually explaining them.
Do you think it'll come out like in the art of kind of after the fact?
Like one of those Pablo Hidalgo guides might put it in there eventually, but I think more than likely we'll get the answer like to the Praetorian question probably like when the action figure hits.
Well, like, I also think that they want their cake and eat it too. They want to give fans who want to see the sequel connection, they're going to be like, oh yeah, definitely this is what they are. But for those who don't, they can play devil's advocate and, you know, have it the other way where it's like, well, you know, they're Mandalorian guards who look like Praetorians. Whether you want to see that connection or not is up to you. Yeah. And I am starting to agree with Santa when he said it's not going to be until season 4 we probably get an explicit connection to the sequel trilogy, like with Snoke and everything. Because when I was thinking about it after he said it, it does seem way too early at this stage for them to bring in Snoke, even if he's alive.
Yeah, there has been absolutely zero evidence of Snoke at all. Like there hasn't been anything that in terms of the plot leaks that I've got that makes me go, oh, and that's where Snoke shows up. Like that makes sense for Snoke to be here. So far, no, there isn't any of that, and so I'm really doubtful.
By the way, this is my favorite, right? Wolf, owl, not the wolf.
Not the wolf. Yeah. That was back when he wasn't I believe that's back when he wasn't explicitly saying like Ahsoka was coming back and he was like, yeah, but she's coming back. And I think that's what that's what that joke was about.
I was
doing some digging about Rebels and some unused, scenes. And I talked about the one with Bendu and Ahsoka. But there is actually a very interesting thing that Dave Filoni spoke about at Celebration 2017 to do with the Loth Wolves. And because I didn't really understand watching the show, and I've rewatched season 4 like 8 times, I never really understood the connection between Doom and Kanan. And he basically said Doom is connected to Kanan's Force spirit now that he's dead, and is enacting the will of the Force through Kanan in the form of a wolf. So he's kind of there to guide Ezra on the next stage of his journey, or Ahsoka in this stage as well. And that's kind of like, this is what Kanan would do, basically. Because I didn't actually get that from watching the show. They just say, well, Doom is Caleb Doom. But, it's never really explicitly said why this wolf is connected to Kanan.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to imply that in my article. It's his will. It's in the cosmic force. This is like how he isn't. It's like a different version of a force ghost, but he's using the animals. He's in this case.
And by the way, I'm fully aware of Caleb Doom being Kanan's real name, but I'm saying what's with a wolf? How is that a concept in the Force, and why haven't we seen it? Is it kind of like Morai being a manifestation of the daughter, and does Ahsoka become the daughter? that's another thing I want them to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Meg, that was absolutely brilliant because the connection, until you just now said it, between Caleb Doom and Doom the Loth Wolf, or when the Loth Wolf says Doom, right? Whatever. Like, and between the Morai and the daughter, and being Ahsoka's like spirit animal kind of thing, we do not have real clarity on what's what.
My take on it was the fact that Ezra has that natural ability to commune, control, connect with creatures. Like that's like his sort of like his like natural ability. I think that's why it made sense for Kanan to go about it that way. That's just kind of the way I took it when it aired back in the day. You know?
I want to take it further then. Do you think there's a connection between Ezra and Grogu? Because Grogu has that ability with the Mudhorn and the Rancor, and they're bringing Ezra into this universe, the Mandoverse. Will Ezra be a logical mentor for Grogu to maintain some Force abilities while also being a foundling? That's what I want to know. And I think Ezra is a great mentor for Grogu because he's much more flexible. He's been through pitfalls and temptations to the dark side. Just throwing out some thoughts.
Yeah, he doesn't have Luke Skywalker's baggage either of like having to show up in episode 7. You know what I mean, in that role and all of that kind of stuff. And Luke has to take on like Kylo Ren and stuff like that. And so when you put all of that there, moving him, if he was to continue something, would make sense. And also, the question that I have, like with all of this stuff that we keep hearing, like Ahsoka's not a Jedi. Balon was a Jedi. Grogu rejected being a Jedi. Like all of these people are like not all have the prerequisites to be a Jedi, but none of them are. So what are they? Is this going to contend with that, or are we just going to have a bunch of flunkies essentially that are just out there in Jedi flunkies doing their like thing? Like I kind of think that when you put all of this together at some point, it may start to paint a different picture, but maybe it's going to play that game we were talking about earlier where everything's just ambiguous. And yeah, I got the Force. Yeah, my lightsaber's red. Don't ask me why. It's none of your business.
Jason, did you just mention Balon?
Yeah.
I think it's so cool that you're mentioning a character we don't even know yet.
Yeah. Well, we know he's a little Jedi guy, and then
but
he's not gonna.
You talk about him like he's everyone knows Balon. He's
everybody
been in
knows Balon.
Every show.
Everybody knows. He's been following along. You know Balon.
The chat's trying to lead us down a rabbit hole about the son and the daughter. And I see you guys talking about it there. There's a lot of things with that whole Mortis arc that are still a little ambiguous. Like, did it really happen? Was it all just a vision? So on and so forth.
Well, we know. I mean, like it's not a. I don't think it's a place you can go to. I don't think it matters if it's a physical place you can go to, or if they were in a trance. They were there. That stuff did happen because we know all of the stuff happens. We know that everything about the balance, everything about what goes down, it happened. It wasn't like Dallas or whatever, like where it's just all a dream in the end, and it's like irrelevant. But it's symbolic of the galaxy at large, what's going on, all of that kind of stuff. But will they pick up on that for the Ahsoka series? Will any of that stuff come into play or whatever? Like I'm really curious about that because you're the guy who likes the Lord of the Rings stuff, right?
Yes,
and
I do.
Like they always tease that there's this like consequence for Ahsoka having been resurrected in that arc. And I don't feel like there ever is. They always act like I feel like over the years they've said more than once, oh there's consequence for that. Like there's an angle to it. And in reality, I'm like, well, what is it? So far, we don't know.
Well, here's a question for both of you. We're talking really deep Star Wars lore to do with Rebels.
Yeah.
Let's say you're an average Star Wars fan. You liked Ahsoka in The Mandalorian Season 2. Maybe you've even seen a couple of episodes of the Clone Wars or the 2008 movie. How do you explain to that audience who didn't bother with Rebels all of this stuff?
I think I know. You introduce the world between worlds, and when you do it, you set up, for instance, like to go back to the Mortis stuff without redoing the Mortis stuff, without having to explain all of the nuance of it and making it, taking away the nuance of it. You go and you say like, she's treated death before. And in doing so, that's made her like the natural, like the attraction to this place makes more sense. Like her, somebody who has defied death, been brought back, and then you have Mortis, and which you're not supposed to really even know about necessarily. Then you have the world between worlds, which is not something that you would think should be trifled with, but she's the one who would sort of be this outlier outside of nature, so to speak. And there could be a way of just lining those up with why can you be here? Why are you here? Why are you messing with this? And it's like, well, because you already aren't, your fate was already altered massively. So I think that there's something to that. It's something that you can do with the witches and how the witches are going to view this stuff. I don't want to overstate how important the witches are to the Ahsoka series, but it does seem like I don't know how much real estate in the show they're going to take up, but they're important to it. And so how are they important to it? Like, that's like my kind of question right now. And I think that stuff all of the stuff must connect, right? Like it's all sitting there.
Well, I don't know. I think.
Sorry, Santa.
No, I just think you leave the whole Mortis thing out of it,
and
it's just for the nerds to know. Because it doesn't really, at the end of the day, doesn't really change that for just the average consumer who's watching the show. Oh, she's a light side force user, whatever, and they probably don't know she's not a Jedi, right? I am no Jedi. Right? They don't know that. It's like, okay, she uses the Force. She's a good guy. The end.
Because I thought of the way that you introduce the Rebels characters without introducing them. Because, it's like, well, how is the casual fan going to know about Ezra, Sabine, Hera, you name it? Well, you don't have to. You can introduce them the way Ahsoka was introduced in The Mandalorian. You can have her and Sabine clearly being friends. You make it clear that Sabine was a Mandalorian or whatever. And they could do the Andor thing where they go to a bar on a random planet and they tell the bartender or whatever, through some, I can't remember what the film device is called, where you kind of tell the audience without telling the audience, but done in the right way, what the mission is to find their friend Ezra, who was a Jedi. And I think in that sense, you don't have to overcomplicate their backstories. And in that sense, you could do this thing where it encourages fans to go back and watch the animated shows.
Yeah, there's like a plot, I think it's called in medias res. It's like some Latin thing. I don't think I'm saying that right, but it's in medias res, and that just means like the story starts in the middle of the story. So you end up figuring out who's who. Like Star Wars has always done that, and so in terms of like the Rebels characters, like you just start with like two women looking for their friend, and like with that right there, then you just begin to unravel everything, and then like the pilot comes into play, and then we would learn more about them as the story goes on, instead of being like, here's Star Wars Rebels in a flashback, like at the beginning, and explain all of that. I think they will probably do something like that anyways, but I don't think they need to.
Well, I think in the word Meg was probably looking for is the exposition, right?
Exposition.
Oh. Yeah, just a couple lines of dialogue, some exposition that says, sort of what you were saying. Hey, this is my friend. He was taken out in this thing. You could do a brief little montage video that's 30-second kind of thing. Away he went, and you're done. Now we're in the story. What's going on? If you want to know more about that story, as Meg said before, you can go watch Rebels. Talk to your nerdy friends. They'll tell you about it, stuff like that. But it's not. Yeah. It's not integral to the story itself, so you don't have to tell it. It's just like, okay. Ahsoka comes along. She's got these white lightsabers. Ooh, that's new. She got two. Ooh, that's new too. That's cool. The end. Like, big deal, right?
Right.
again, for just the average viewer on Disney Plus, right?
And this discussion has me thinking, like, we were talking about Captain Rex, like, will Rex appear in the show? Again, I kind of don't think he needs to. I don't think this needs to be the greatest hits of Filoni characters. I honestly am starting to think of this story as more linear amongst what it needs to tell, for Ahsoka to be from point A to point B, and that point B is, the majestic, beyond the Jedi, white robe Ahsoka. And I don't necessarily think you have to address every little character along the way. That's just my take. You can have a couple of allies, but I'm realizing we don't need all of them from the Rebels.
Right. Right.
No, if the story is the search for Ezra and then finding him and then dealing with the issue, then you use the characters that pertain to that. And so far, I don't see how like a clone post Return of the Jedi necessarily pertains to that story. Why you would need him necessarily? But I guess eventually, though, if the story opportunity is there, then they pick it up, right?
Yeah, and so Trev asked, do you think the live action show will do a previously on an animated show? I don't think it would be kind of cool if they did, right? Previously on, like at the beginning, and they show an animated bit, right? I don't think that'll ever happen. The closest we have was, as you saw in the story in the actual post. Where did I put the window?
Well, the World Between Worlds though is a way of showing that stuff, and also if something differs from it, then they go like in this dimension, in this outcome, this is what it looked like. It's like a free pass to lightly retell any of that stuff and not be like, there was supposed to be an owl perched up there and there's not now, or whatever happened in the cartoon. Like they don't have to do
but
everything specifically if they don't want to.
No, but I think that they won't play the cartoon is my point. They're not going to show the animated bit. If they're going to do a previously on, it'll be like this, right? Like this is a direct take of the animated version. And we've already heard that they're going to do a direct take of the episode where Ahsoka splits Vader's helmet, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a live action thing. It's not going to be you're looking in this World Between Worlds panel and there's animation going on in there.
Right.
I do agree with Eddie Stoner's comment. There should be an opening crawl. It doesn't have to be the John Williams hit that high B flat note, Star Wars intro. It can just be its own thing. I think that'd be quite cool for Ahsoka to stand out from Boba and Mando with the logo zoom. Just have a crawl. You could literally explain in two small paragraphs what Ahsoka is doing, where she's been, and her next step. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Point.
And Rev says like I don't think Filoni's like gonna retcon himself, and I don't think he would either. But like when you look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, when it shows the Inquisitor Fortress, the Fortress Inquisitorius, or whatever it's called, the geography, the layout is different. Some people got like weird about it, like that's not canon now because the canon is, and it's just like I don't know, they renovated, man. But it's like, but in that kind of instance here, if you show it in the World Between Worlds through a vision like that and it's different, you just go, hey man, it's World Between Worlds, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's how it shows it, man. It is kind of a free pass on showing some of that stuff, and you could change it a little bit, like the fight with Darth Vader. I think that is probably going to be glimpsed there. And I think that's how we're gonna see that she fought Darth Vader and who she is. I think that's how we're gonna learn who Ahsoka is. I think the World Between Worlds is going to show us exactly who she was, who she could have been, and who she ended up not being, all in like that sequence. That's what it sounds like.
And Jason, to add to that point, that is a very good kind of gateway for people who don't understand why Ahsoka matters to the story, because she made allusions to Anakin and Mando, but not by name. And I do think Anakin, past, present, and future as a Force ghost, matters so much to this story. Mm-hmm. And that's why they don't need the Rex and the Zeb and the Callus, because they can just focus on Sabine is her best friend that she's looking for Ezra with. They were both Ezra's friend. Ezra is this Jedi. Thrawn is doing this stuff in the New Beyond. And this is why Ahsoka's journey is flourishing. And that's the Anakin part. And I think that is probably the reason Dave Filoni wants to revisit the World Between Worlds more than, let's say, for any Morai subplot or anything.
Right. And looking at that painting there, I think that the big, like, what's the Chekhov's gun in the painting though? It's Zeb. He's like the one thing where when you show this painting and then you don't have it, you're like, well, from a marketing angle, it does make it go watch Star Wars Rebels and you'll learn. There is a little bit of that. But if I'm just taking this show as like a text unto itself, and then you're reading this text, you're like, well, you're introducing this purple guy. And then he's not in.
I think the Chekhov's gun in this is Lothal, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you about it being Zeb. I think it's Lothal. You've got a Loth wolf. You've got the Loth cat.
All of it can be. Yeah. But I mean, it's introduced. All of this stuff is introduced in this painting. So if something from this painting isn't in the show, it becomes a questionable piece at that point, right?
But they have to start there. They have to start at that wall. Mm-hmm. That's where the Ahsoka journey begins. Yes. And if they omit that, there's a continuity error. Because when I say that there are fans who don't know Rebels, there are still going to be hundreds of thousands of fans who do know Rebels. Oh, and that's a blatant, like, okay, where's Zeb? Did they just paint over him? And I feel like it doesn't matter to fans who don't know Zeb. They could just be like, oh, that's probably a friend they have. Yeah. Because you could say the same about Kanan. I don't expect to see Kanan in the show physically.
Well, he is talked about. He is talked about in the show. Yeah. I know we will have Kanan explained.
In the show. More tea. My goodness, I'm gonna have to get a mop. You're spilling tea on the floor.
Making you wet?
That's good. Oh. No, that's good. No, that's fantastic. Let me ask this as well. And Nick put it here. I highlighted it. Is Luke Skywalker going to be in the Ahsoka series? So we did see Ahsoka and Luke together. We know they know each other. Is there still going to be an appearance of Luke? Let's say, and I can't help myself in having this connection between the Ahsoka series and the Skeleton Crew series, the overlap that's there. Would we get live action Luke in either or both of those series?
Well, okay, so here's where I think like it may go that way. Is it sounds like the series begins before Mandalorian season 2 and moves through it and beyond it. And so like the time is super confusing, but what do we see in the series? We see her like going to kill Morgan Elsbeth, who's in the show. And so did she live, or is it stuff from before? That's what I don't know at this point. I can't place the time. But then we have her stopping by Luke because Grogu calls her on the phone, on this Force phone. And we have her meeting with like Luke in there and stuff like that. So that implies actually like that she's already spoken to Luke before. But then there's also those moments where she's like, you're just like your dad and all that stuff. And like, so is this the first time she's seeing it because of the Grogu situation? Or is this the first time that they've like hung out and just like, talked the Force? I
could be off about this, but I'm pretty sure we know Luke is in the series.
We do?
Because Mark Hamill signed Natasha Liu's birthday poster of Sabine. And
Good
that
memory.
was part of the casting crew. And I feel as though Dave Filoni was asked at Celebration if we're going to see that interaction, and he kind of basically gave a non-answer that says,
Yeah, so
like, maybe not.
Yeah, people want to see how they met. How did Luke and Ahsoka meet? And is Ahsoka the canon now, the new canon version of Mara Jade? Meaning, the Luke Ahsoka thing is a joke. And it's because Josh Lucas over on Den of Nerds can't leave it alone, and he likes to troll people with that. But it's just a fun thing he's doing just to be silly. But I do not think we're going to see like a Luke and Ahsoka like marriage, children, whatever. I don't.
Yeah, if you're going to be the kind of person, if you're the kind of person who goes like, Dave Filoni loves George Lucas, he's his Padawan and respects everything George does and says. If you're that person, you can never, ever, 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 ever say that Luke Skywalker will have a girlfriend or even a boyfriend, because that's not what George wanted. And I do think that Dave is going to do what George wants from Luke, or would have wanted. So I think that like at most you would get a flirtation at most, and there was absolutely no indication of that in Mandalorian season 2 at all. Yeah. Like Luke had no game. He's so lame.
We just don't need it. I mean, there are characters in Star Wars where a romantic subplot happens accidentally or whatever, and it's fine. Hera and Kanan were an amazing romantic subplot. But I can't stand when people ship characters who have so much other stuff going on in their story that's way more interesting than shipping them with another character.
Because they shared a frame. They were like in the same frame together.
Exactly. It's like Sabine and Ezra. Yeah. I don't think they need to have Sabine and Ezra have a romantic interest. It doesn't do justice to their stories.
Yeah.
It's like I hope Ahsoka doesn't either.
I kind of think it does. I kind of think it's going to. That's not any. There's no. I don't have like a solid lead on that or anything like that. But I do think that they're going to put that romantic angle in when they reunite. That's just a prediction though. When Sabine finally finds Ezra, like in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a someone who loves you moment, like Return of the Jedi style. I just kind of getting that vibe from it, but I don't know for sure.
Well, I'd rather them than Ahsoka, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Ahsoka's beyond that. She's supposed to be this like, she's probably one of the most powerful characters in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
She's Luke's superior. She's got all this wisdom. It just feels like it's reducing her to something that the creatives would want, but I don't think Dave Filoni would do that. And I think
if either of them meets Bix, it makes sense.
Right. So there is a complaint about modern Star Wars that there's not been enough romance as part of the story, the sequel trilogy specifically.
I'm part of that for the most part.
Yeah. So I do think that there's room for it, for sure. And Sabine and Ezra, yeah, I could see that. And personally, I've always been a Finn Ray kind of guy, but that's
it does start with Ezra being interested in her, and then they quickly move away from it and forget it. So it is something that like it's not like Rebels promised it though or anything, if they don't do it.
So yeah, there's a lot of people who want to see Luke and Ahsoka meet the very first time. Like what happened? Mm-hmm. What happened when they met the very first time? Like just.
And what if that was it though? What if that was it?
Each other in Mando too, or something.
Like what if that was the first thing? They just took out the hi, I'm Ahsoka. Oh, hi, I'm Luke. You know what I mean? Like they seem familiar in Mando too, but it's so open to go to it being either way. Like they could. That's why I don't have like a definitive. That's why I can't figure this out at the moment.
So
I've got a theory for you, and I think Santa's going to love this one.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I will say in advance, I'm obviously joking, but I think Ahsoka and Luke, they had a few drinks, then they didn't contact each other for like a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And Ahsoka has this little Togruta human, and Luke's like, oh, nice kid. And she's like, well, he keeps saying he's a Jedi like his father before him. Mm-hmm. I think you might have something to do with it. And then that's why we don't see Luke again.
And then Luke's like, I'm a Jedi like my father before me, and he bails, and you never see him again until he dies.
He saw the child payments, and he went to Octo Island.
That's why he's on Octo. He's hiding from the child support enforcement.
Exactly.
Doesn't want to send it. Yeah. So there is another thing out there. That says,
Midnight Lux Bonteri booty call. I know. That's what I was thinking too. She's like, Lux, what's up? Civil War's over. Want to hang?
Oh, you guys are terrible. The other thing that's out there is a rumor that went around that Grogu is actually a clone of Yoda.
I'm not going to comment on this because I just don't know, because she's gotten things right in the past and things wrong This is a Grace Randolph thing, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And the thing is,
it doesn't
you have
track,
to remember
though.
how old Grogu is.
It doesn't track. It's he is in the Jedi Temple during Attack of the Clones.
Well, he's the same age as Anakin.
Yeah. So I mean, Phantom Menace, the prequels, like so that doesn't actually track. Like you can't. There's no like Sith subplot where they stole Yoda's blood from the fight with Count Dooku, and like went and cloned him, and then now like and then he's in the Jedi Temple. Like
we have
being
proof
raised.
that he's not a clone, by the way. Kawil in season 1 said he thinks this is organic because he hasn't come across one of these in the gene pools or the gene farms or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
and I think that was Favreau and Filoni's way of saying, guys, stop the clone theories.
So he's not a strand cast. That's what he said.
So Grace may have like got there's cloners searching for Grogu, something like circumstantial, and then she may have extrapolated from there based off of the fact that a cloner Pershing is in proximity or after Grogu in this thing right here. It's not like a super Star Wars fan, and then she goes, "Oh, because it's a clone of Yoda. Now it all makes sense." I wouldn't be surprised if that's. I don't know her, so I haven't asked her or whatever. But
she said quite a few things, by the way. There's she mentioned a cloner called Dr. Hemlock, and she says that she kind of alludes to Dr. Pershing actually being in this season. So
we know he is. We saw him in the trailer trying to when they're like sneaking around. Remember, they're sneaking around in the trailer to bust Gideon out of prison. Remember with his.
Oh no, I meant she said he's in the Bad Batch.
Oh, in the Bad Batch. Sorry, gotcha.
And I don't know, maybe the Dr. Hemlock is kind of very on the nose for what Star Wars would call that guy, but
yeah, I could find out if Pershing is in there for sure. So I'll tell you today.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Let's move to our friend Bespin's story. And again, I don't think he broke this.
Yeah, he did. It was his idea.
He runs ESPN secretly.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I've heard is that Monday on Tuesday, January 17th, that the Meg's going to launch a new channel. It's going to be Sports Ball Meg.
Sports Ball Meg.
Everybody should subscribe to it, and you'll get her analysis of the Monday Night Football game. She'll be breaking down all the plays,
LeBron supercuts, everything.
You know, I've got a bone to pick with Santa about this because he keeps throwing out different, random channel names. I told him he should make a second channel called Santa's Sack.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
It sells itself.
I'm entertained because this has happened before where they put it, or at least they advertise it's going to happen, and they get people to stay up on to watch a sports ball on a Monday night, and they're waiting for halftime. They're waiting for this trailer to drop, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. A bunch of people watching the sports ball who don't care at all about the sports ball, but the sports ball is on. So that's why I'm trolling Meg just a little bit. I can't wait for her breakdown of the game. But
do you think they'll make us wait for the game to put it online, or do you think they might just put it online that day? And
it'll go online like within minutes of it.
I don't think so. I think Jason's right. If you remember, was it Book of Boba? There was all these rumors it was going to be at halftime on an American football game, and then at 3 p.m. my time, which is like 7 a.m. Eastern, it was already online. So I kind of feel as though they'll do it before. And
I hope so. I'm not watching that. I'll just wait for it to come online after. It's like.
And do you think it's going to be the same trailer, the same second trailer they showed at Celebration, or is it new footage?
Well, I think it's good for a fact that they made that one with Christopher Lloyd in it. That was supposed to be the Christmas one. So I'm kind of thinking it's going to be that most likely, but I can't say for certain now if that's what it is. But
I totally forgot about Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I forget about him? But yeah.
So
good.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's that same stuff. Usually when the marketing stuff is all worked out, there's like a clip, a bunch of clips, as we know, that are like all like kind of like accepted as being like, oh, here's what we're going to use in all of the marketing stuff. So it would, if they don't show that, that will definitely be coming in a TV spot or something.
You know what I mean? Gaming, I would love to be your soccer correspondent. I would dramatize all of the football games from Europe.
Be fantastic.
I have a gripe about soccer because I follow a team called Chelsea, and they signed like the best Spanish player in the world, and he got on the field and got himself a red card on the first game.
Bespin told me I support Manchester United, not Chelsea. That's what he told me.
Yeah, well, Bespin is a Manchester fan. So what we need to get Meg and Bespin on, like,
a soccer hooligan fight.
Yes. Oh yeah, it needs to happen. It needs to go down.
By the way, guys, do you want to hear some juicy Andor season 2 scoops?
I'm as happy as a little girl. Yes.
Well, Meg's leading us to another topic, but go ahead. I'll let you.
So, Faye Marzay, who played Vel Sartha, started following the guy who plays Storden Tonk in Rogue One, which is one of the Rebel ground assaults team on Scarif. So I think that's a good sign. Those guys are going to be in Andor season 2, which we kind of figured, but I think that's a pretty big development. Nothing too major.
Also, on a little side note, we were talking about season 2 of that and stuff like that, but the new season of Bad Batch is supposed to be moving towards the impetus of the Death Troopers and with Crosshair and stuff too. So like all of that stuff is like getting brought in, and all the Rogue One stuff is kind of being pulled apart and being reused and stuff. So I think that's super fun. I want all of those guys from Rogue One in there in roles if they could have it. Like Melshi last season, that was like so rad. I love that. Like that's like fun.
Jason, you remember you commented on when I kind of do source material book and there's a change in visual audio quality? Well, in one of those, I actually went through these background Rogue One characters saying they might appear in Andor, so that might age quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
I do hope we see Crosshair in Andor season 2.
Do it again now that there's that rumor or that connection has been made. Pull out the book again and show everybody who it is, because I don't think most people are gonna know what you're talking about right now.
That is very true.
So some folks are saying Christopher Lloyd is Cyboth.
No,
I don't think so.
No, he's a crusty clone. I mean a crusty Mandalorian.
Mando, yeah, he's a crusty old Mando.
In fact, what I actually heard about those sequences, by the way, is that it wasn't Christopher Lloyd at first. They did those sequences with like other actors, and then when they went into like one of the rounds of reshoots, like maybe the third round of reshoots, they decided that they were going to make it Christopher Lloyd at that point. So I'm kind of curious if we might have a weird Back to the Future kind of moment where if we like look in the background, we might see like, hey, that's not actually Christopher Lloyd. Or he just has the helmet on the whole time. They decided to remove the helmet for the third reshoot.
Oh my gosh. Is it like when they did Mace Windu in The Phantom Menace in that one scene on Naboo?
That one guy?
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, he's just this like good looking black guy. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm Mace Windu too. And Warwick Davis plays Yoda in that sequence too.
You get me thinking about other possibilities. We know that like they had some Indiana Jones references in Star Wars and Star Wars references in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because they've got Christopher Lloyd, might they throw in like a broken clock on a building that's on the same time? What was
his symbol? His clan symbol's like the flux capacitor logo, almost. Something like that.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Or just as simple as you've got this building, Mandalore's been kind of leveled. You could have a building that's got a clock up on it with the same time on it that was in Back to the Future.
He looks at the clock and he goes, Mandalore's running out of time. I'm like, oh, come on. Come on.
It could be anything. It makes me wonder if we should be looking for little Back to the Future Easter eggs in there. That would be great. If Kumar doesn't appear as a droid,
there's the Christopher Lloyd opponent. And if someone can find the news update I did where I talk about who that is, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was tweeting hashtag this is the way. And I think Jason was like, yeah, that's the guy because there was the Christopher Lloyd guy and then the rival guy.
Yeah, there was it was like two crusty. First, I saw like a crusty old white dude, then two crusty old dudes. One was dark skinned, and then like they're like two different clans, and the clans are united.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone's calling Kumail Nanjiani Kumar.
Kumar?
It's Kumail.
Kumail. Matt.
What do you mean? Mark Risman?
Mark Risman. I love it. So the trailer's coming out Monday night. Meg's going to stay up till 3:00 in the morning to see the trailer, and then start her review of it, breakdown of the trailer video. At like 3:30 in the morning, publishing that.
Eddie asked, wasn't there a rumor about Jamie Lee Curtis being an Imperial? Jamie Lee Curtis was Morgan Elsbeth. And then she couldn't do it because Halloween was going into production. So like they got as far as like all of the stuff with her costume and everything. And I actually emailed her. I actually emailed Jamie Lee Curtis and got no comment.
I was going to say,
got back. He brought back and said no comment, and I think that, but it felt like a winky kind of element to it. But
Stephen in the comments has found the name of the guy I've been trying to remember for the last like 2 months. Charles Baker is the guy who I'm convinced is playing some kind of proto Snoke. Is it possible for us to get a picture of this guy? Because he's in Mando season 3.
Yeah, wait, that's the guy from Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up now.
Because he's in Mando season 3. He Instagrammed that he's been involved in a secret project, and one of the hashtags was the Mandalorian. This is the way, and he just looks like the guy who would play Snoke if you're not going to get Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up here. Here you go.
Yeah,
that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now that was the comment I was going to make. Like the in-universe or the canon version of C'baoth, however you say that, is Snoke. That's my take on it. The cloned bad guy is Snoke. So that's how I'm. Just for folks that keep saying, is this person going to be C'baoth or this person? No, Snoke is C'baoth or C'baoth. That's it. And that's my opinion. That's what I'm going with. There's another quick story, and this is from StarWars.com. Darth Vader black, white, and red revealed. And there's a couple variant covers here. It's a continuation of other franchises, but now they're bringing it into Star Wars.
He's like, hey, can you hold this for me? My shoe's untied. Sorry, that's what it looks like to me.
It does.
It does. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh, that's totally what that is. He's like, here, hold that. Here, hey, Jason, hold that for me just a minute. I need.
My shoelaces are untied.
There's your new joke. What's black, white, and red all over? Darth Vader.
Darth Vader's
but
there
was this quote that one of the writers put in here, and I like this. It's and this came from a different spinoff, but it says, "All I am surrounded by is fear and dead men." What a great line for Darth Vader to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's from Vader Down, but here you get a couple of the other
Vader
covers.
Down TF, right? Am I right?
Yeah. So this is it's a limited run, 4 episode arc, and they've already done it with Wolverine, Deadpool, and Moon Knight, right? Mm-hmm. So this is now doing it with Vader. So some folks are pretty excited about that. and then we were going to talk about the Bad Batch. And Meg, in her story
before you
today,
move on to the Bad Batch, I'm just imagining like some kind of live action Vader series where all he does is be sassy and sarcastic the whole time. So like there's 3 stormtroopers, one of them pissed him off. He's like, you know what my favorite show is? 2.5 Men, and he slices one of them in half.
No.
Yeah. And then that weird little guy from Mustafar who like is like a little butler guy. He's like, polish my helmet. And then he starts laughing, and he knows he has to do it.
It would be golden.
Oh.
No? Okay.
Oh, it's like that the meme I put on Meg's Discord today from the British site. Have you not seen that, Jason?
I didn't see it.
Did you see it, Meg?
I might have seen it.
Yeah, I'll put this in here.
I'm so bad at Discord. Like I'm always behind.
Well, because Meg and Vader's Lair followed this site, it came up on my feed. Due to unseen circumcise. We'll be closing. Like if you're circumcised and you come in here, we don't see it, we're closing. Right? Due to unseen circumcised,
there was a brilliant one on the underground, like the subway system in London, and there's a genuine poster that says, "We will cut homeless people in half by 2025."
Darth Vader's like, yeah, let's do it. 2.5 Men joke.
It's funny. It's from No Context Brits, Vader's Lair. It's from No Context Brits. It's a Twitter feed that Meg and Vader's Lair follow. So it cracked me up when I read it. I'm like, they mean unforeseen circumstances, but unseen circumcised. Like apparently they're fans of the circumcision. I don't know. StarWars.com. Bad Batch. There's a fun little. And Meg, you've been doing these. I don't know if you're going to cover this one or not. They have another little quiz on here. Let me see if I can.
I look forward to taking it.
Yeah, rumor is the next episode is the best episode of all time.
I was told, and I'll tell you guys who told me this after the stream's over.
I'm messing with Meg right now. Based off
I found out episode 4 is apparently the worst episode of the whole season.
Right, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's that's by some people's opinion. I saw you put this right. You got to remember this is completely subjective. By somebody's opinion, it was the least of the series. So
well, everyone was telling me that as a Clone Wars guy, that last episode was going to be like my favorite episode of all time. And I was like, I don't think that really felt like a Clone Wars episode to me. It just had cosmetic similarities. You know what I mean? So it's like you can never tell. It's like somebody else's opinion. It's just always you have to experience it for yourself and be let down or enthralled on your own. I think. So
Meg's video today, she talked a little bit about we got Commander Cody back, but at the end he went AWOL. Where is he? Where's he going? What's happening? And so when I pulled up the StarWars.com account just to see what's in here, I found this. What percentage Omega are you? And so, Meg, I look forward to seeing your Patreon only video of this.
I'm the middle bit of Omega, the Meg bit. There's
the Meg bit.
That's true. Meg. I'm the Meg bit.
Right, you're the part in the middle. I'm the one in the middle.
She leaves the O part to her girlfriend.
I circumcised the O.
Like the lightsaber. Do you think Obi-Wan circumcised Luke before he sent him on his way? I think he's like.
There are so many jokes I could make, but I shouldn't because this is YouTube and there's terms of service. But
okay,
we need an After Dark channel.
Let's see.
Santa's sack. After Dark.
No. Which would you take on a road trip? I'm taking Wrecker on a road trip.
Wrecker on the road trip.
Which do you find most relatable?
Daniel
Hera,
Fisher just
Boba,
cracks me up.
Gonky, or Kylo Ren? I'm going with Gonky. How do you prefer to travel? Boat, train, family? Or what's your greatest strength? How good compassion, empathy.
That's weakness. Sorry.
I have to drop things. If you saw the beginning of today's show, I dropped things. You get one item to keep. So you're donating items to charity. 3 of the things you have to donate. 1 you get to keep.
Santa doesn't like Jar Jar because he is Jar Jar. No, I'm kidding. Dropping stuff.
What creature makes the best pet? This is what I'm going to say. If we get a vintage collection Loth Wolf before we get a vintage collection Blurg, I riot. That's the end. That is it. So what's the best pet? Oh, this came up in the last one you took, didn't it, Meg?
It
Rancor, Ruby, Ordo Moon Dragon, or an Ice Spider. I'll go with Ruby. I'm 100% Omega.
100% Omega.
That's me. There you go.
All right.
But anyway, so at the end of the episode, we
kaleidoscopes. How do they work? Do you know?
we saw Commander Cody is AWOL. Is he really AWOL or is he dead? What say ye?
Well, why do people think he's dead? When I saw it, I never thought he was dead. I never that didn't even occur to me.
Him.
Yeah, because we don't see him.
Rampart's way of saying he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like dead.
Rampart could totally be lying, and Rampart's is known liar. So,
but since we saw him kill the other guy, they would have just showed him. They would have just put that role onto Cody and then had him kill Cody. That would have been the most efficient way to write that, and they didn't do it that way. So that's why I think he's alive. Then,
I think he's alive. I think he's I think he's AWOL. Meg, do you think he's alive?
Absolutely. I think he's going to try and find Kenobi.
Yeah, your video today said that it very well could be setting up Kenobi season 2, and there was an article that published just recently. Let me see. It was an interview. The direct has it here. Yeah, let me share this on the screen. Ewan McGregor reveals why Obi-Wan Kenobi's final surprised him. And this
it was so bad he cried.
This published Wednesday. And they asked the question at the end here, will there be a season 2? Scroll down. There it is. Will there be a Kenobi season 2? And basically they're saying, nobody knows. That's the TLDR of it.
They're trying to make it happen. They've been trying to make it happen since the numbers were good way back in the day. So
I'll tell you guys after the stream. I don't want to say anything.
Okay.
No. So your video today, Meg, give us the brief recap of it, if you would.
I kind of feel as though they're setting up Cody's appearance in Kenobi season 2, and it would make sense if they're doing at some stage a sequel of sorts to kind of bring in some of those original ideas. Hello, Grogu. And I do think they've left the Cody thing open-ended, so we can eventually catch up with him. He might go to see some other clones, maybe Rex, maybe Cutler Quain, and it probably will take him a bit of time to find Obi-Wan, which explains the 9 years between now and Kenobi. Or maybe Kenobi met up with him at some stage, and in season 1 he just wasn't on Tatooine. But I do think that reunion will happen.
And they could always adapt what they originally wrote for it, where he shows up and he's like, "Yo, you can't be here. Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I owe you, man." Like all that. Like they could totally do that, you know? Because in the original script for that, he fakes Cody dies like in a ship or something up in the air. They think that was Kenobi who died. Like he literally goes on the suicide mission for Kenobi. That's what I was told, and then they think Kenobi is finally dead, in that original unmade story, and that's how Cody died.
Interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. So, the question I was asked the other day on a YouTube video in the comments, somebody asked, "When are we, or where will we get Cody in live action next?" And their question was it going to be a Kenobi season 2, or would it be in a Book of Boba Fett season 2? And my answer was Book of Boba Fett's way too late. Like, he's dead. Old age is going to get him if he's like, if you go to Mandoverse, the clones who are on double aging, they'd be so ancient by then, they'd be gone. So I don't think in the Mandoverse, I don't think we'd see him in Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, none of that. It would have to be Kenobi season 2 or some other project that's not yet been kind of announced that would be in that same time frame.
I agree. He can't be in the Mandoverse because why wasn't he with Wolf, Rex, and Gregor in Rebels? You would think if Cody was alive, he would have joined those guys.
Yeah.
And
unless he dies before Rebels, right? I mean, he could be with them and then not make it on some adventure where he's lost, right? I mean, that's up for grabs. But
I do see a 501st.
I do agree. I agree, though.
Yeah, we do see a clone trooper in Kenobi season 1, right? Or Kenobi. There was only one season, so we do see one.
And who was the guy who Rampart killed? What was his name?
Wilco.
Yeah. So I think though, if Wilco was killed by Rampart and he was going with this AWOL story, I think the story would be Wilco and Cody went AWOL together. And if he had said that, that would be the clue that they were both murdered by him and that they're both dead. Since he doesn't say that, and he gives because that's the most logical story to create here, that Wilco and Cody went AWOL together. And actually, it still actually even makes sense that he would still say that, since Wilco is at the bottom of a river right now or something, right? He got pushed like off the side of a dam or something. And so it's like so it's really kind of just like kind of weird writing, but I think that that's also another clue that he's alive, because you would put those things together. And
that's a very, very good observation. And on top of that, I kind of feel like Cody was planning that escape for a while. So he probably ran off in the night completely under the radar, because the Empire would have killed him if they caught him. But now that he's gone, that they probably figure he's not going to get very far.
And in that episode, he's hoping that Crosshair is going to be like, yeah, man, like, I agree. I'm with you. Let's go. Like, that's kind of what he's looking for. He's fishing for that. He doesn't get it. And I think once he doesn't get it, and then what happens, I think after that, that's when he bounces.
And there was a really sad line I've not seen too many people talk about. When Rampart tells Crosshair that all the clones he knew are disappearing around him. And it reminded me of the Nine Inch Nails song Hurt, where it's like, everyone I love goes away in the end. And that was the moment, I think, Crosshair. I mean, you're saying he's going to be a Death Trooper. I don't know why I'm so hopeful, but to me that sounded like maybe Crosshair's realizing.
I would say Crosshair is going to at least get up to like we're about to put you on the operating table, and then he might defect and run at that point and not become one. And that's always a possibility. But Rampart is going to spearhead the Death Trooper program, and Crosshair is the proto.
Yeah. And I've been wondering that for some time, that he was going to be going that direction. It fits with what happened with the clones after Order 66, and they start replacing them. A lot of the clones in development that were still like not yet assigned to active duty were made into these Death Troopers. And
there's also visual clues too, like his lenses in his helmet are like the green color and everything that they are.
Yeah. And do I think Cody is redeemable? 100%. Absolutely.
Oh, he's got a chip in his brain. What do you want him to do?
No, I think Chillmonger, yes, Cody is 100% redeemable. We already saw that in the episode, and I think that's where it's headed.
Crosshair, though.
Will he get back to Rex? Will he get back to the Bad Batch? Will we see him again? I don't know. I really don't. Maybe season 3, if we get a season 3, but who knows? Who knows? But
I'm doubting another season of this.
Yeah,
from the direction it's going, from what Jason's said in the past, and that final episode being called Plan 99. I think this is it. I mean,
I'm fearful just in the direction Disney is taking with Iger, and what will they do from a budget perspective? Are you getting enough ROI on the animated projects like this to warrant a third, fourth, or fifth season? Not unless it's a passion project, which, George Lucas did the Clone Wars because it was a passion project. It was losing money, but he did it anyway, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until later on that it started breaking even, and then Rebels, it was fine. But
once again, like with that Disney article that came out this week, where they're talking about like the proxy war at Disney and stuff, and heck, how the argument that those investors are trying to make, it completely overlooks the fact that companies like Netflix make 3 bajillion shows and then 4 of them connect, but they're all cheap. But they like Netflix spends more money. Stranger Things, stuff like that, doesn't bring in Star Wars money. Grogu, this bullshit is not being sold from Stranger Things in the same levels that this is being sold. Stranger Things makes money on merch. I'm not saying it doesn't. It ain't Grogu merch though. And all of that ecosystem all plays in to each other. Even the Bad Batch, which I actually don't really think Bad Batch is a good business idea, to be honest with you. It's one of the ones I don't think actually really gives the bang for the buck in the end. But you do have a show that's aimed at younger people who will watch it and then may watch Mandalorian and then may buy this. So and Iger's really aware of that synergy between the products. So they're trying to make it seem like streaming is a bad idea. Disney Plus costing what it costs is a bad idea. It's like this big loss. But if the Mandalorian and those shows aren't made at that quality, they don't sell this stuff. So they have to justify this stuff to that board, right? But that's where how much does Bad Batch really bring in the kids to it? Do they have that data? That's what I'm curious about. I don't think we'll ever know the answer, but I would love to see, what do they glean from their data? What does it look? How does it look like that works? Because nobody really knows. Just like nobody knows how much Ewan McGregor made from Obi-Wan Kenobi, by the way. So I saw the chat earlier. They're like, Ewan doesn't care about Star Wars. He just wanted all of that money for himself. I heard that he didn't actually get that much money from it. So it is a passion project for him too.
Yeah, and I published Andor. So there was an article that was published a little bit ago on the top streaming projects on Disney Plus for 2022. So Disney published it. It's a Disney article. Their top 10 for 2022. And Andor made the top 10. It was the only Star Wars project to make the top 10. I think it was 9. And then 8 and 10 were Marvel. The rest of them above that were all different things. So the perception that's out there, the Andor viewership was way down. Well, it's in the top 10 for Disney Plus as a whole, according to their own metrics. Well, yeah. What is that? Like, we don't even know. There's so little made publicly available from a metric perspective, like how many people watched it, how long did they watch it, which episode, like you can't break down those numbers in any kind of analytics.
Do rewatches count? Like if I watch Obi-Wan Kenobi 8 times a day, does that count?
Like, it does, because one of the things that they put on there was
is watch time. Is it just watch time?
Well, no.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
So like Bluey was number 4. Well, because kids put that on replay and just leave it on. Because
parents put it on replay. It's not your babysitter.
Right. The Simpsons is number 1. Well, there's not enough new episodes of Simpsons to keep it number 1. It's number 1 because people are going back and rewatching.
Well, also there's 50,000 seasons of it, so it's like
right.
Yeah,
So the argument is that it's got to be rewatchable, right? So is that indicative? Andor is number 9. So Simpsons, Grey's Anatomy, Family Guy, Bluey, Modern Family,
okay,
Malcolm in the Middle,
Here's the other thing though. These stats right here are for for Europe. That doesn't apply to us. I can't watch those shows. You can't watch those shows here. So once again, that's not even indicative of the whole world. That list, by the way, that's important. Bespin always tells me, we always share what's on our Disney Plus home screens and stuff, and he has all these TV shows, the menu is on his right now.
Yeah, I get advertised that every day.
Yeah, it's a great movie, by the way.
It's a great movie.
Good. Yeah, but it's I would love to watch the menu on Disney Plus for what I'm paying for it, to be honest with you. But it's a completely those kind of the Disney Plus top 10 series. It's a strange one, but it also doesn't say a good thing about Star Wars though, or Marvel in that point. But the fact that those shows, the Marvel stuff is on every platform. The Star Wars stuff is on every platform, yet Bluey is winning in terms of the Modern Family. We don't have Modern Family. We can't watch Modern Family on ours, I don't believe. And it's but that's how much better it's doing than all of that content in totality.
Well, I know when Netflix lost The Office, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
because The Office is a streaming leader among all content, right? And so where it goes, viewers go, and they're watching it on repeat. So, all of that's going on in what this argument here is your old rerun stuff that you put on the platform is making you more revenue or getting you more watch time than anything else. So, does it bode well for original content?
But I think it does.
So focused on that,
I think it does because that's that stuff is comfort viewing. When I'm just cleaning the house or whatever, and I got Netflix, I put on Seinfeld. I just watch Seinfeld all the time. That's just I'm putting something on, but I'm passively watching it. And in terms of a streaming service, I don't know if that content necessarily keeps you subscribed. I think that's a really big question. Is does that like you were saying, The Office being lost is a big deal, and it truly is. But does it really make you subscribe to a show just for The Office, or to a channel just for The Office, or not? I think it's kind of it incentivizes it. But I think that a lot of people are just subscribing to Disney Plus for those reasons, and they're oh well, I'm gonna keep it because I could watch Grey's Anatomy all day on it or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Here in the UK, Friends on Netflix is huge, and it's always in the top 10. And I've rewatched it a million times, so I'm sure that's another one.
It absolutely is. So it's really tough when they put out stories like this to know, well, what does that mean? Because we really don't have any real metrics behind it to understand it.
It's two different things, though, right? It's two different it's two different mindsets.
But here's the that's
wanting to watch House of Dragons and putting something on repeatedly for comfort. It's just not the same. It's not the same activity. So I don't think those things compete. They are. It's two different viewing habits. So it's fascinating, but it doesn't say something necessarily bad or good about either.
And my point is, these investors that are harping about it, what kind of data do they have? And do they know?
They're idiots. They're wrong. They're so wrong. I can't even I'm sorry, but Netflix, I looked it up. They're hemorrhaging. They're $16 billion in debt right now because they throw 50 bajillion things at the wall, and then 5 things stuck, and those 5 things were cheap. You can't hold that against and then they go, well, our IPs aren't doing that. Because your IPs are well-known things that require love, care, and attention, and a budget, friend. That's stupid. Squid Game can cost $100,000 an episode when they first make it, but when you're on season 2 or 3 of Squid Game, your budget's going to balloon because there's going to be expectations about what it needs to be, what it needs to look like, what it needs to adhere to. You can't go and make Star Wars and Marvel for the same thing as doing a dating show. Like sometimes like that's one of the top tens of Netflix is like a dating show that they spent, you know, a couple $100,000 per episode
or
on.
some baking competition.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Great British
Zaz
Bake
Lab. You have to work out if something's a cake or an actual object.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And these corporate stooges are they're ruining HBO right now. They're calling it they call it layback TV. And they think that I'm going to pay for HBO for layback TV. They're high. And then they go, well, your mother-in-law wants it. And I'm like, no, what are you, like the Zaslav guy talks about that all the time. The mother-in-law. They're going to keep Discovery Plus Max, HBO Go for the mother-in-law. And it's like, they're killing Cartoon Network for it right now. But you know what? Everybody who has a mother-in-law also probably has kids. I mean,
Dark Crystal got canceled. You look at some of the content they've made, and it makes no sense at all. You're right. They are dumb.
They don't know what they're doing at all. None of them do.
Yeah.
And these investors are trying to come in like they know because they're all about the money. And people are like, I'm about the money too. I'm all about the Benjamins. I know what he's... It's like, no, you don't. You don't know what you're talking about. And these people are actually... Like Disney hates them. So I'm a shill for hating them.
Let me try to drag it.
Yeah.
No. Let me try to drag it back a little bit, and it's why I share the same concern Meg does about getting a Bad Batch season 3, or even what's the future of the Mandoverse? What's the future of some of these live action projects? What's the future of the MCU content on Disney Plus? What I think until we see how this investor war kind of plays itself out, and who knows? It's really concerning. It worries me.
Well, this is why I think Omega and Grogu are so vital to the future of Star Wars, because there's only so many Ezra and Ahsoka things you can do. There's only so much you can do with Din and Bo-Katan. They need to keep setting up new protagonists every once in a while, and I think Omega and Grogu are part of that future, because if they do like an episode 10 type project, you can bet Grogu's going to be in it, and he's going to be in all of the trailers. He's going to be the selling point if they're smart.
Right. I think Dave and John just say they walk into the room. Well, they take Jason's Grogu figure, they plant it on the table, and they walk out. They're like, take that.
There's a couple of things though. Is that they need to justify the expenses to Disney Plus. But the thing about it is, once again, products matter, but also like in these Star Wars shows, they weren't making Star Wars movies, which is about $200 to $250 million with another $200 million in marketing costs that they're not spending. So when you get down to it, you're close to $500 million on a Star Wars movie, whether it's Solo, a Star Wars story, or Episode 7. So you end up in that ballpark. And Lucasfilm hasn't made those movies for the last couple of years. So everything has been an investment into Disney Plus, which now the investors are saying we want more return, but we're only looking at the return from Disney Plus itself.
Yeah. And
they're not looking at the fact about all of the other revenue streams that it generates, like when they make a Fortnite skin and it makes like $15 million off of Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're not considering those things in that really stupid, because they want to just make this really bold point to try to make sure that they get a higher dividend up or something like that.
Yep.
And that's at the end of the day, those guys are idiots. The industry shouldn't listen to them. Disney ultimately has to do what's right for its investors, or it's like breaking the law. Well, so it will, but it's wild. But it's just wild how I see people latching onto it and going just wild with it in these crazy ways that if you hate Star Wars or you like it, it doesn't matter, because what they're saying is just BS.
Agreed. And some would say it's cutting your nose off to spite your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that phrase comes to mind. We have a Mike Porter dad joke. We have a Mike Porter dad joke. It's a Star Wars one, and you guys make sure you're following Mike Porter on Twitter. So what do you say about the Starfighter pilot 9 when he feels good?
He's comfortably numb. I got it.
Well done, Jason.
Good job, Jason. Yes, 9 num. There you go.
I got you, Mike Porter. I got you.
Yes. Yeah. Dumb stockholders. Look, it's you gotta keep content there. You gotta have original content there. It's not just a place to recycle your old content.
Yeah.
But I think a point that Meg's been kind of making lately, and I think most Star Wars fans are kind of attuned to, is we need movies. We need things at the theater. We need that revenue stream to come back, and we need it not only for the revenue, because then you can take that movie and put it on Disney Plus, right? But you need it for just the audience excitement and the audience engagement with the IP, and the lack of Star Wars movies hurts the franchise as a whole. And then look, we've traditionally with Star Wars, there's large gaps between the trilogies, right? Mm-hmm. We need to move past that concept where we take a decade or two in between, 10 to 15 years between movies or sets of movies. It needs to be on a more regular basis. Not saying you have to have 3 a year or nothing like that, but you should at least get one every other year or so, or it just creates this, it'll feed into the Disney Plus subscriptions, right? People want to be able to go rewatch the movie. Well, they can do that when it releases, say, 90 days after the theatrical end, and you can go watch it on Disney Plus. Yeah, but it's
absolutely
for the investors who are saying, well, making this noise. Well, let's get stuff in the theaters, and that'll take care of some of that content for you.
And Star Wars needs to make less on Disney Plus when it has a movie coming onto Disney Plus that year, as well. Like when you have if you have a quarter with a Star Wars movie coming out, you don't really need a Star Wars show to go at the same time. You could link it in and do the synergy thing if you want to, but us fans, I think we kind of become either or. I think one thing at a time, to be honest with you. So I could see them doing. I think they should do 2 shows a year, and a movie every other year. I think that would probably be good.
So let's drive down that a little bit. 2 shows, 2 live action shows. What about animated?
Yeah, if there's cuts going on, I think the animation stuff should go first before the live action stuff. I love the animation stuff. I don't want that to happen, but if we had to make cuts, I would say start at animation, and
that
don't
upsets me. But
don't cheapen the live action stuff first. If they have to, they might not have to though. Or but look at what they got right now. I mean, Mando 3 hasn't come out. Ahsoka hasn't come out. Acolyte hasn't come out. Skeleton. There's 4 shows right now, and by the way, all 4 of those shows cost more than any show they've ever made. I know this factually right now. All 4 of those cost more than any of. So they did all cost a lot. They're not. If they look bad, it's because the talent behind the scenes messed up.
So
wasn't cheap.
I think your argument on the animated is right. It upsets me because I love the Bad Batch. I love Rebels. I love Clone Wars.
Same.
I love these. But I think where we're headed with it are your Lego specials and the what's that new series coming out? Something.
But
Jedi,
also the Lego.
Whatever.
The Lego things are ultimately commercials for a product as well.
That's true. But
so those won't die. Is what I'm trying to say.
No. I know. I know
all of this could die, and that will be the one thing.
What I'm saying is that
yeah.
What I'm saying is Lego specials will exist, and these preschool ones, right? The ones that are more for the little kiddos, because again, you look at Bluey. Bluey's getting plenty of views. You get some preschool or young children animated. The budget on it's way lower. You're not
what
trying
they have
to create
to do is
stuff
they have to do that, like what the Muppets used to do. They have to have Grogu come and visit Bluey from space in one episode. That's how they should be doing
that. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm fearful that that's the future of animation for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Right? That's the we lose Bad Batch, we lose Rebels, we lose like new ones in the future. What about Tales of the Jedi? What about Tales of the Sith or something like that, right? Yeah, it's just, I think the budgets are going to get pulled down on those, and they're just going to aim them for the young audiences, and that'll be that.
I think realistically, though, they end up just not having like 4 productions, 5 productions all going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, because like right now, I think it looks really bad, but all of that is going to be massive return for them in the end. Like that's the other side. But how much do they need at one time? They may they might invest it and just like we could put this out now, but we're not going to really get more out of it. If they put out too much in it concurrently, it doesn't help them.
My stomach is going to start its own show, growling here in a moment. So we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it here, and you guys hang out. We'll talk a little bit after the show. Is Star Wars Pals on Disney Plus or YouTube? Yeah, just YouTube. And that baffles me as well. I don't know why they don't go ahead and put it on Disney Plus as well. I can't follow them when they put stuff on Disney, or let's say Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, and not on Disney Plus. I just can't get my head around that. So
yeah, put it on both. Well, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. We've gone really long. Meg and Jason, we're going to hang out just a little bit after the show. So thanks for being here, my friends, and for everyone. And let me just take us off the stream for a second, and we'll say bye. You guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, my friends. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. May the Force be with you always. Bye bye.